Good evening. I will call this meeting to order. This is meeting number 17 for fiscal year 22 of the Advisory Finance Committee. Today is Monday, January 24th, 2022. I'll start by reading the governor's directive pursuant to Chapter 20 of the Acts of 2021. No in-person attendance by members of the public will be permitted for entirely remote meetings, which this is, but every effort will be made to ensure that the public can adequately access the proceedings in real time via technological means on Westborough TV, Verizon Channel 28, or Charter Channel 192, or on www.youtube.com/Westborough TV. However, in the event we are unable to do so despite best efforts, we will post on the town of Westborough's website an audio or video recording, transcript, or other comprehensive record of proceedings as soon as possible after the meeting. I take it you've all had an opportunity to review the minutes of last Thursday. So I'd like a motion to approve.
Motion to approve the minutes from last Thursday.
Bradley, second.
Any discussion? Okay, if no discussion, we'll go to a roll call vote. Melanie, will you start, please?
Ford, yes.
Bradley, yes.
Olin, yes.
Leslie, yes.
Siddiqui, yes.
Moretti, yes.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 600.
600. Okay, the next order of business is the DPW transfer request, which we took up last Thursday, held it over pending explanation of additional information. I take it you all still have a copy of that document and the related information. And you've all had a chance to look at Hank's follow-up information. Is there any further discussion on that transfer request? Well, hearing none, we'll move to a vote. Could I have a motion to approve the transfer request of the DPW?
I'm gonna have to dig it out if I think to say it correctly.
Okay, Beth has joined the meeting.
Okay.
Beth, are you there?
Okay, here it is.
Okay.
Hard to read because it's fuzzy, but I move that we transfer from the Finance Committee Reserve Fund the sum of $44,937 into account 14203-5202E and 14203-5202G for the purpose of replacing 3 gas furnaces.
Is there a second?
Siddiqui, second.
Bradley, second.
Okay. We'll move to a roll call. Any discussion, any further discussion? Good, we'll move to a roll call vote. Melanie, will you start us, please?
Ford, yes.
Bradley, yes.
Olin, yes.
Leslie, yes.
Siddiqui, yes.
Moretti, yes.
600.
I apologize. I actually jumped over. You said Beth had joined, but I don't see her name.
Yeah, no, she's coming in right now.
Okay, if I was not supposed to jump over, I apologize. Well,
No, it's
It was
fine.
before me.
Yeah. Beth?
Yes.
Are you with us? Hi. Okay, we just voted to approve the
Minutes?
transfer request.
Oh, the transfer request?
Yeah, the DPW.
Yes.
Well, the vote
favor.
is concluded. We couldn't get you in time.
I was on the wrong Zoom link. I was trying to enter last Monday's meeting.
Oh, okay.
It's something weird.
We can add you, I guess, if we wanted to, right? We haven't done anything else since, right?
I support it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
Whatever.
All right. Why don't we add her and we'll just take
700.
700?
Yeah.
Okay. The next order of business is a review of the warrant articles, a third review. So a couple of comments, if you will, from me. If you would like tonight, if you're so inclined, we can vote on some of the articles. I did a review again, and I found 6 articles that we could probably vote on this evening, if you're so inclined to do that.
And just get them out of the way.
Yep.
I think with, well, first of all, there's 2 missing people, but that often just, I think, complicates things because they're not articles that will take long to vote, and the numbers change sometimes, which is what I'm probably more worried about.
Well, I think we can keep track of them.
Okay.
And I don't think that the fact that we're missing 2 people will make a difference, since these are pretty straightforward articles. And I don't believe there'll be a question about our vote, but we can always go back and revisit the vote. I mean, it's up, I just as soon get them dispensed with personally, but if there's a general feeling we should wait, we'll just wait until after the budget summit and deal with them next week.
Has the warrant officially closed, if I may ask?
No.
No.
No, we're on version 3. We should get up to about version 7 before we're talking closure.
Yeah, that's kind of what I thought. In my mind, that's the best reason not to vote now, just because it seems premature, not knowing what else is going to be on the horizon. Understanding that they're very non-controversial, but that would be my vote for now.
Yeah, I would be concerned about subtle switches to the warrant articles that might happen, even though you are correct that these are the articles that, like, we can almost vote in our sleep because they're just sort of general housekeeping and business. But I would think it would look better if we waited till everybody was present, or at least gave people an, hey, we're going to vote on these next week.
We can do that. I have no problem. Anybody else want to comment?
Do you want to tell us which articles you thought could be voted now?
I thought
1,
2, 3, 4, 11, and 17.
the very basic housekeepings and arranging the, yeah.
It can't be 4. 4 is the whole budget,
Well,
4 is the capital.
yeah, 4 is,
the operating budget.
I'm sorry, did I say 4?
I think it's 1, 2, 3, maybe.
1, 2, 3, 5. Look, let's just wait until next week.
Yeah.
They're that quick, we'll just get dispensed with them next week. Okay?
Yeah.
I do want to make a couple of comments with respect to these articles. Number one, or not the ones that I just spoke about, but the articles in general. The articles requiring a borrow or a raise and appropriate, or a potential rate increase, should have an indication of the tax implications in the explanation of the article. And I think that's missing, and I will speak to Christie about that. The other thing that I thought about was the article on the acquisition of the home on Brady Street, which is the Affordable Housing Trust article. Excuse me.
That better be your agent.
It's not, I apologize. Anyway, that particular article with respect to the acquisition of that building for the $48,000 in back taxes, in the explanation of the article, it does not contain an alternative for the town meeting to consider, which is the potential to auction that property off again for potentially more money. And the town might wish to do that instead of allowing the Affordable Housing Trust to take that, to pay those taxes and take possession of that property. So I'm going to ask, does anybody have any comment about that?
Yeah, I mean, that could be part of the discussion, but it's not part of the article because the article is specifically to transfer it to the Westborough Housing Authority.
I understand that. And my point is that the explanation, I think, should provide
More
an
options?
alternative to the town meeting.
Oh, the explanation could have been, this is in lieu of auctioning it off.
Whatever, as long as that's put in there some way so the town meeting
I
recognizes they
think that
have
there's
it.
only the one versus there could be an alternative.
Right. And
Well,
so I
the
just,
explanation as written is the town manager's message, which she has a right to slant the way she wants, but we can write a message that puts what you propose in.
yes, we could.
And
it's-
maybe that's-
And she no longer calls it the town manager's message, calls it, just the general information.
Right, but the reality of it is, it's the town manager's message, unless we take back permission to edit it heavily.
Yeah, well, Mike could make the suggestion to the town manager to include that. She can decide whether or not she wants to include it.
And if she
Right,
does,
and if she doesn't want to, then we can choose, because it's our book.
correct.
So we can choose to put that message in or say it on town meeting floor. I think that when you throw stuff out on town meeting floor, though, sometimes you make things complicated. And I'm not going to say I have a position yet on this particular article, but I definitely am willing to talk about how we present things to town meeting, which I think is what you're bringing here.
Yeah, I first of all, I believe in complete transparency. Secondly, I think if we can provide the voters with as much information as possible ahead of
That's
time,
good.
they have the opportunity to make a better decision. Now,
Right.
granted, most people who attend the town meeting are not going to see that explanation until they come in and
Sure.
get handed a book.
Yeah,
We know that not a lot go to the website to look through these things. That's my only point. I have no position on this article right now either, but that's why I'm looking for more transparency on this and more on tax implications of the various articles that are clearly looking to the levy or borrowing as a method of funding.
then I think that's something that we should first ask Christy if she wants to,
Yes,
add those pieces. And I'd like the message to either say town manager's message or to come back under our domain where we have editing abilities, because I feel like we've always been restricted on our editing of the town manager's message because it was the town manager's message.
Now called article information.
Right. Article
And-
information implies
And I
it comes from us.
I lost track of which one you're talking about. Can you just let me know? I'm trying to catch up here.
it doesn't make a difference which one. We were specifically talking about the article on the
Oh,
acquisition of the Brady property.
Oh,
But
okay.
the real question is
Whose
the
message?
information that's presented. And Beth, go ahead and finish what you were saying, please.
Yeah, it's basically a case of whose message, there's the article and then there's the message under it. And we have for the last N number of years deferred to the town manager, that the town manager has written a nice blurb in general. And then we've added additional comments if we felt so compelled. But now that the message does not say town manager's message, but says article information, I think we either need to be heavier handed in the writing and changing it because it's our book, or to go back and get it back to town manager's message.
Okay. Yeah, I just want to provide a little bit of context. So it used to be there was nothing other than the warrant in the publication of the warrant. Then it went through a phase where and I was on the finance committee at the time, where the finance committee essentially allowed the inclusion of what used to be the town manager's statement. And then the recent trend has been toward article information. However, historically, it's always been that part of the writing in the warrant is not supposed to be persuasive writing. It's supposed to be strictly informational and not try to the intention of that back when it was first done was to provide some context that people could read about, so they could read about it before the meeting or refer to it during the discussion. And as Beth has said, what gets printed in the booklet is up to the committee. but my belief, just based on the historical, how this came to be, is that if the committee feels that what's written in the information is veering too much toward trying to persuade a vote for one way or the other, then the committee could either work with the author to get it to be more evenly written, or the committee could point that out in their writing in the booklet. As Beth has said, the report and recommendation is the report and recommendation of the Finance Committee. So I just wanted to say that the information there, at least historically, has never been intended to try to persuade people whether a particular article should be supported or not supported. It's supposed to provide additional information that's not in the formal wording of the article itself.
I think that's what we're all saying, John. And
Okay, I just wanted to, I was not fully paying attention because I was catching up an email. I wanted to make sure that wasn't the case.
no, there's
That
no,
makes sense because the motion has to be legalese and perfectly scribed, right? Because it's
Right.
the actual
And as
motion, but there's always some background and information.
Right, and as I believe it still says, I'm not paging through. I can't page through while I'm talking here.
it's article.
It says at the beginning that language is not a formal part of the warrant, because so it doesn't change the scope of what I allow as a motion or not. So, all right. Sorry if I confuse things. I just want to provide a little history.
Oh, that appreciate that, John.
Yeah, in fact, John, there's the paragraph right above Article 2. Says the article information statement. And
Yeah, I saw it right after. Yeah, right after. Yeah, thanks.
Okay. Any further discussion on that?
I think it's fine that you make that suggestion, and it would be interesting, like you said, if the ones that are raised and appropriate. I mean, she usually puts up some chart kind of quickly at the meeting, but if it said in that little blurb, this is equivalent to $11.08 on the AH, or what we think will be, because that changes anyway, but yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we've been saying all along for the last 2 years at least that department heads, when they present their requests, should have some indication of what the tax implication is, so that we have a full understanding of what it is we're voting on, and what the town meeting is going to vote on. And so, I'm just going through. Granted, this is an early version of the warrant. Probably will get cleaned up, and there'll be some grammatical error, editing, etc. I just want to make sure that we have that information included. Again, more information for the town meeting to have to make a decision. Okay. All right. If there's nothing else on the articles, we'll hold off voting until after at least till after Thursday's meeting. Which reminds me, we have no meeting Thursday night. And if you have not contacted Sela in the select board's office, please do so to let her know whether or not you're attending on Thursday.
What is the schedule that I know it starts pretty early, but how late does she think it's going to go?
Starts at 8:30, and we'll have a short break for lunch, which they will provide. And
If you're
the
present.
last presentation is scheduled to begin at 3:00.
Yes, probably like 4:30. Because right, 4.
Yeah, my guess is 4:30.
Be over by 5.
Okay.
But
Because I'm going to cut out for a class in the middle, which is one of the reasons I'm remote.
No, you're welcome to do that. Okay. Any liaison reports?
Just to follow up on, I think what Andrew was saying, I think I had heard that the warrant will close around the week of the 20-something of February. So we're, like a month away from actually closing the warrant.
Yeah. Okay, that would be nice, but there's always last minute stuff. if there's no other, if there are no other liaison reports, we can
Well,
go.
it's
I'm sorry.
not
go
a
ahead.
liaison report, but I did have a quick question. Sorry, this is Andrew. So tomorrow there's going to be a budget hearing at 6:30. And what
Yeah.
surprised me about the budget hearing is, at least according to Kim Foster, who sent out the note, per the charter, this is a joint meeting of the Select Board, AFC, and CEPC. So I got notified by Kim because of my relationship with capital planning.
Mhm.
But I see the reference here to the advisory finance, but I don't think it's come up in our crosshairs.
Well, we were all notified officially, I believe it was today.
Yeah, by Sela, I think.
By Sela? Okay.
I mean, you might want to just check with Christy or Kim, but historically, that should be a posted meeting for all three committees, or all three boards or committees.
It is.
So is it posted for the finance committee?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
It says for these boards, and
Okay. Because it used to be that each of the three boards and committees posted it separately. And it should be that a majority of the committee should be there for it to, this is one of those parts of the charter that has not been paid quite as strict attention to as it probably should be. Because the intention back long time ago, even back when I was on the Capital Expenditures Planning Committee and before I was on the Finance Committee, is that it was the essential, it was where the Capital Expenditure Committee would do its formal report out to the town. The select board would have that, the town, and then it turned into the town manager presenting the initial pass at the budget. And the finance committee was involved, I believe, historically, so they could be involved in the sort of formal rolling out of the budget. So might want to make a note to try to tighten up the process for next year. But it certainly would be beneficial if a majority of the committee could be there. And
so, John, there is a posting on the AFC webpage for the meeting on the 25th. It says Monday, the 24th. Never mind.
Yeah. Okay.
So I think the only posting is on the
So it could be that. Yeah. So it could be that that Michael or Walter, maybe you could follow up with Christy and just say next year.
It's been
it really should be
time.
that you guys post that each of the three committees post the meeting as a joint hearing.
It's posted on the select board as a joint meeting.
Oh, okay. Well, in that case, you should have known out. You should have been informed of it a lot earlier. So because it should be.
We kind of found out about the last meeting because Christy mentioned. That's when she started saying it's a joint meeting of the AFC.
Because it really should be that a majority of you should have to be there, and you should have your own minutes of it, or you should acknowledge by reference the select board's minutes. So anyway, certainly the process should be tightened up. But I can fill you in a little bit more on the history. But
John, it's been a long time since that meeting has happened. At least during the tenure.
No, we did it last year. We just did it at the beginning of the summit.
Yeah.
Well, right.
The first hour of the summit.
The summit meeting, yes, but this extra evening has not been formally.
What Walter is saying is we did not have it as a standalone evening meeting at the time the select board. They decided to have it at the beginning of the budget summit last year.
Right. And and the year before. And prior to that, it'd been a while since we'd done it. Like that's what I'm trying to say. It's
be that
they
as
decided because they wanted feedback from people to do it in a time instead of 8 o'clock in the morning on a Thursday to do it in the evening at a select board meeting.
Yeah. So anyway, I would say do your best, but try to tighten up the process for next year because it really should be the majority of the committee should be there.
Okay. Thank you. We will. Yeah. I think all of our members will do their best to be there.
All right. And I'll try to remember next year too. Thanks.
Okay. Moving on. Future agendas.
He's got a question.
Can I ask one? Oh, sorry. Snapper's next.
Oh, guys, I was looking down, Walter. Go ahead. Walter.
Oh, Andrew, you had mentioned at one time sending out the capital list once it got sort of settled. Has it been settled, and can we get it? And if not, then I'll wait.
Yeah, absolutely. So I have the list, and I can show you like where the votes came down. And in the end, the list that was finally approved. So I should say two things. The list that was finally approved was cut back based upon the news that came out with the concerns for the raise the taxes next year, and the vote we made was taken without the benefit of understanding that there's the potential for really high taxes coming next year. So I think that I personally would have voted a little differently and tried to rein in some of the pieces before approving the slate that we did. So I will share narratively information, and if I said I was going to do that and I hadn't yet, my apologies. It'll go out tonight. But yeah, a little narration, and we won't discuss until we meet next.
And one other just question because when Christy was here, when I asked the question sort of about these other spending projects, she said that they don't really affect the budget, but isn't it correct that some of these capital things they borrow, so that some of that borrowing would happen in 23 and that some of the money would start being paid for that?
So it wouldn't be in 23. I think the payments would start in 24, but yes, it will ultimately affect the budget.
Okay, thanks.
Okay, anything else before we move on? I'm moving slowly toward adjournment, folks.
Okay, quick question. Is
yes.
the meeting tomorrow evening, is it in person or hybrid or Zoom only?
It's hybrid, and you should have gotten a message from Sealador today with the Zoom link in it, if you chose to,
okay.
to use it.
But you can go in person as well if you want to.
In person to the town hall. The meeting actually starts at 6:30.
Is
Okay,
this
thanks.
one at Great Hall or at the other place? In the select meeting?
I think this one's at Memorial Hall. I might be looking at an outdated agenda. It says the meeting starts at 6 here, and then the budget hearing is at 6:30. But I'm
the agenda that we just get says Tuesday hybrid. It doesn't
Okay.
Yes. Hybrid.
At 3:20, Sheila sent the Zoom link for tomorrow night's meeting.
Yes.
And then at 3:48, she sent the Zoom link, I believe, maybe not, there's more. She sent information about Thursday's meeting.
Okay. Let's not get all confused here.
Yeah.
As far as I know right now, the meeting is at Memorial Hall in the town hall.
Mm-hmm.
I think the select board meeting meets at 6, and then the budget hearing starts at 6:30.
Correct, Tom.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, we all good? If there are any changes, I will certainly get them out to you.
Thank you.
Okay, future draft agendas. We've laid out already the fact that we're going to meet tomorrow night. We're going to meet Thursday all day, and then our next meeting will be Monday, next meeting of the committee on our freestanding. Okay. We also pointed out last week that we're meeting with the school committee on February 9th, which is a Wednesday evening. In anticipation of that meeting, will you all please begin to think of 1, 2, or 3 issues that you believe are important to this committee with respect to our interaction with the schools? Just give it some thought. And before that meeting, if you could email me your thoughts, nothing formal. You can bullet point them however you'd like. The top 3 things you think are most important to us in dealing with the schools. And we'll mull those over, talk about them before that meeting. And then the format of that meeting will be that we'll do an opening icebreaker, each side will present issues alternatively. We will break into smaller groups to discuss those issues as they are presented, come back for a general discussion, and then deal with the next item of importance. So that's, we'll really formalize that in a document to send out to you, but that's basically the format of the meeting. Okay? Classic retreat format. Any other issues with future draft agendas?
Anything we should do in preparation for Thursday, the all-day event?
Read the budgets. Read
That's
the
what I've been
budget.
doing. I just didn't know if there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Get your questions ready. We're going to get those presentations from the major department heads. And this will be a good chance to go through the first pass at each of those departments individually before we decide whether or not we want to bring them back in. Okay? All right. Nothing further. May I have a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Seconded.
Roll call vote, please.
Blumberg, yes.
Ford, yes.
Bradley, yes.
Dolan, yes.
Leslie, yes.
Siddiq, yes.
Moretti, yes. Thank you very much, folks. Wow,
Thank you, Jeff,
33
and Westborough
minutes.
TV. Thank you, Westborough TV.
Thank you. Yes, thank
Thanks,
you,
all.
Jeff.
Have a good night.